Hello everyone, welcome to A Clear Perspective. I'm Soren Lee. Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges last week, and his trial is over. But it might be just the beginning of the next step. The main concern now is if Rittenhouse will become another Nicholas Stedman and sue the individuals and the media who defamed him. If so, who will be the first to be sued? In today's episode, I will focus on this matter. After the fatal shooting in Wisconsin last year, the fake news media labeled Rittenhouse as a white supremacist. Rittenhouse was convicted in the court of public opinion. They said he was a white supremacist and a mass murderer who went to Kenosha with the intent to kill peaceful protesters. From before the trial started, the leftist media hasn't stopped their biased reporting of the case outside the courtroom. The judge and the defense attorneys completely ignored the false narratives from the media and the numerous death threats they received, and did not yield to the pressure. The judge also repeatedly reminded the jurors not to listen to the surrounding media, but to make a logical judgment based on the facts they saw and heard in the courtroom. The jury of 12 civilians acquitted the teenager Kyle Rittenhouse. The verdict immediately makes Kyle Rittenhouse a free man, and the false narrative the leftist media pushed for over a year was shattered. The leftists' attempt to use this case to advance their agenda has failed. In an interview with Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson, Rittenhouse said, "I'm not a racist person. This case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense." And that he supports peaceful demonstrations. Attorney Todd McMurtry told Fox News that Kyle Rittenhouse could potentially have a defamation case against President Biden over a tweet suggesting Rittenhouse was a white supremacist. McMurtry may not be familiar to everyone, but the MAGA teenager Nicholas Stedman is well known. McMurtry is the lawyer who represented Nicholas Stedman in the first half of 2019. His legal team sued CNN, The Washington Post, The New York Times, Rolling Stone, NBC, ABC, and CBS on defamation charges on behalf of Stedman, a then high school student. Stedman filed a $275 million lawsuit against CNN and a $250 million lawsuit against The Washington Post. In addition, Stedman is also prepared to sue a number of politicians and celebrities. The wealthy CNN and The Washington Post confessed quickly, saying that their chances of losing the lawsuit were high. Therefore, in January 2020, CNN chose to settle with Stedman out of court. In July of the same year, The Washington Post chose to do the same, buying their way out with money. Although a specific amount was not disclosed, it is estimated to be a huge number. The incident happened in January 2019 when CNN allotted 7 days in a row to report a brief confrontation between Stedman and an elderly Native American man on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. CNN described the incident as a middle school student wearing a MAGA hat besieging an old man. The incident sparked cyberbullying, and the public opinion criticized Stedman. His family even received death threats. But the truth is just the opposite. Attorney Todd McMurtry told Fox News that Kyle Rittenhouse could potentially have a defamation case against President Biden over a tweet suggesting Rittenhouse was a white supremacist. McMurtry said Biden could be held responsible for his social media posts from September 30, 2020. At that time, Biden tweeted, "There is no other way to put it. The President of the United States refused to disavow white supremacists on the debate stage last night." On Sunday, November 21st, Stedman himself tweeted, "Just got off the phone with Kyle. He's in great spirits." What exactly the two young men said on the phone is still unknown. However, last Friday night, the night Kyle was found not guilty, Sandman said in an exclusive interview with Fox News anchor Sean Hannity that he gave Kyle some advice. Nicholas Sandman hoped that Kyle Rittenhouse could sue the news media. Sandman himself is filing 6 lawsuits against media outlets for defamation, as 2022 will be his 3rd year in contact with the media. He said that he found it difficult to return to his normal life after watching CNN, MSNBC, and other media outlets report irresponsibly on his confrontations with elderly Indians. Sandman said, "I know Kyle is on a journey back to where he was, but he is definitely not the same person anymore. It's a battle." Sandman appears to be more mature now at 18 years old. This is indeed a battle not just about himself, but about the United States. On Saturday, November 21st, Alan Dershowitz, a professor emeritus of law at Harvard University, offered to put the 18-year-old teenager Kyle in contact with legal representatives if he wanted to file a lawsuit against CNN and other media outlets. Dershowitz said, "You can watch yourself crying on TV and then you see those media attacking him, saying it was staged. For example, when Rittenhouse testified in court, he cried until it was difficult to breathe. Yet CNN and the other media outlets reported that Rittenhouse was acting." Dershowitz believes that CNN is being plainly racist. He said, "It is racism, pure and simple. There is no way of getting around it." Dershowitz has also filed his own defamation lawsuit against CNN and offered to share his research with Rittenhouse's legal team if he presses forward with similar legal actions. He said, "I support any lawsuit that he tries to bring against the intellectual thugs at CNN who persistent lying about the case." Dershowitz said, "If you listen to CNN, this is a young man who came across state lines carrying an illegal gun and caused the confrontation and never had anything in his life endangered. All of those are lies, and they keep repeating them over and over and over again, even after the verdict." Dershowitz added, "You just cannot believe anything you see on CNN or on CNBC or MSNBC. It's just a scandal." I think the next step is going to be Rittenhouse suing and making these commentators accountable. Speaking of CNN, let's talk about CNN host Chris Cuomo. He tried to continually smear Rittenhouse credit even after he was found not guilty. Chris Cuomo is the brother of former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. On Sunday, Tucker Carlson said when news broke that Kyle Rittenhouse had been acquitted of all charges, it sent mainstream media into a bit of a panic. CNN host Chris Cuomo was undoubtedly one of them. He was determined to continue portraying the young man as a reckless, irresponsible criminal who was only acquitted because of his skin color and Wisconsin's law protecting the right to self-defense. That night, Cuomo also interviewed Rittenhouse defense attorney Mark Richards and ended up making a fool of himself. Cuomo asked if Kyle regretted going to Kenosha that night. Richards struck back 100 times over, saying Rittenhouse had told him he would not do it if he knew something like this could happen. Cuomo asked if Rittenhouse had considered could have done something else instead of shooting, and Richards simply turned off his microphone. Carlson warned Cuomo that the media could pay a terrible price for what they did to Kyle Rittenhouse. What strikes us most about Kyle's case is that the power of truth is limitless and that evil is afraid to be exposed. It takes not only wisdom but courage to stand firm in the face of evil and choose to do the right thing. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. I hope to see you next time.